Hello ka-learners! Welcome back to our channel. I hope that you are doing good today. We are still studying the module Figure It Out. In the other lesson, you learned some of the figurative language that we use in our conversations. For our second lesson, it will be Figure It Out Yourself. But before anything else, did you know that the English language is full of mystery? English can fascinate you. Writers can describe things that make you imagine interesting images. Most of the time, you can easily understand what the writer is trying to say, especially if he or she expresses himself or herself literally. But there are times when writers use figurative language, making it harder to understand what they are trying to say. In this lesson, you will learn more about figurative language and how to read between the lines. Now, let's read this poem together and try to imagine the scenes being described by the author. Carps by Ian Crichton Smith. There's carps in Boxer's Lake, they said, with scales as gold as crowns, with leathered lips and teeth like chips, and gills as red as blood. There's carps in Boxer's Lake, they say. The big boys told us so. They're special ones with eyes like plums and tongues as long as lies. They live deep in the middle. They live in deepest mud and suck down passing cygnets and suck their cygnet blood. They've been there for 1,000 years, a snorting, bubbling brew who snap the angler's fiber rods and eat the ducklings too. What did you imagine while reading the poem? How did the author describe carps? The author described carps as having scales like gold crowns, lips like leather, teeth like chips, and gills as red as blood. He called them special because they had eyes like plums and tongues as long as lies. Plums are fruits as big as 1 peso coins, so you can just imagine how big their eyes are. Lies, on the other hand, may be unending, especially if told by people who are good at doing so. Can you see in your mind's eye how long their tongues are? They prey on or drink the blood of young swans or cygnets. After discovering what carps are, would you still want to go to Boxer's Lake with lots of them? I hope you watched and listened very carefully to the poem. Now, the underlined words that the author used in the poem are called similes. Similes are figures of speech in which a thing is described by being likened to something, usually using as or like. Let's read these other examples. John growls like a tiger when he is mad. Our math teacher is like a mother to us. Her teeth are as big as Bugs Bunny. He is as handsome as Adonis. Kyla's husband laughed a long and horrifying laugh like the devil himself. Her hand is as big as a frying pan. We have another example. Let's read the text and observe the underlined phrases. The Fish by Elizabeth Bishop. I caught a tremendous fish and held him beside the boat, half out of water with my hook, fast in a corner of his mouth. He didn't fight. He hadn't fought at all. He hung a grunting weight, battered and venerable and homely. Here and there, his brown skin hung in strips like ancient wallpaper, and its pattern of darker brown was like wallpaper shapes, like full-blown roses stained and lost through age. Similes can also be seen in works of literature such as poems as well as everyday conversations. Now, we have another reading. Let us read this together and observe the underlined phrases carefully. The following are excerpts from the story Flight by John Steinbeck. Yes, if you go quickly and return with no trouble, the silk green handkerchief will go. If you make sure to take off the handkerchief when you eat, so no spot may fall on it. See, Mama, I will be careful. I am a man. Thou, a man. Thou art a peanut. It is not good to have no medicine, for who knows when the toothache will come or the sadness of the stomach. These things are. Adios, Mama, Pepe cried. I will come back soon. You may send me often alone. I am a man. Thou art a foolish chicken. What did you observe? In the excerpt taken from the short story Flight, instead of comparing Pepe to a peanut or a foolish chicken using the word as or like, his mother directly calls him a peanut and a foolish chicken. This kind of comparison or figure of speech is said to be metaphorical. Metaphors are expressions in which the persons, actions, or things referred to are described as if they were really what they resemble. It's like a simile, but without using the words as or like in comparison. For another type of figurative language, we have proverbs. Proverbs are well-known, neatly expressed sayings that give advice or express supposed truths. It can be passed on from one generation to another by word of mouth or in written form. We can also read about proverbs in folklores, fables, and Bible stories. Let's read these examples of proverbs and their meanings. First example. The grass is always greener on the other side. It means what other people have always look better than what we have. Second, curiosity killed the cat. This means people, like cats, get hurt sometimes because they can't resist getting too close to something dangerous or asking questions about things that do not concern them. Third example, actions speak louder than words. This proverb means that it's not what you say, but what you do that shows how much you care. On to our fourth example, easy come, easy go. It means that things that are easy to get are just as easy to lose. And for our last example, practice what you preach. This means that if you tell others how to live, you should follow those rules too. Lead by example. I hope that you understood all the lessons that we have tackled in our module. Let's remember that figurative language or figures of speech are devices such as metaphors, similes, etc. that enliven language. Similes are figures of speech in which a thing is described by being likened to something, usually using the word like or as. Metaphors are expressions in which the persons, actions, or things referred to are described as if they were really what they merely resemble. Proverbs are well-known, neatly expressed sayings that give advice or express supposed truths. There you have it. It may not be easy, ka-learners, but keep studying again and again and again. We're done with our Figure It Out module. But you're not done until you take some quizzes and check into your online account. See you on our next episode. It's time for a self-quiz, ka-learners. Let's see if you have learned something from our second lesson. For our self-quiz, read the statement carefully and determine whether the type of figure of speech used is a simile or a metaphor. Ready your pen and paper? Number 1. The rope coiled around his leg was like a snake. Number 2. Because she was afraid, her knees turned into jelly. Number 3. The dog curled up like a worm. Number 4. When Ben opened his mouth to yawn, he looked like an alligator. Number 5. The tears fell in rivers down Lucy's beautiful face. Number 6. When the evening is spread out against the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. Number 7. My mother is a fox. Number 8. Gone, gone is Gordon, tall and brilliant lad whose mind was science. Now hollow his skull. Number 9. With hungry mouth open like a wicked monster. Number 10. During the storm, the ship was a chariot of doom. You may compare your answers to the matching answer key of this lesson when you log into your online LMS account.